Joining me now is Rhode Island Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. He serves as a senior member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he's been one of the most outspoken members against Bovie's nomination. So this just happened in the last 25, 26 minutes.
I voted and came straight here.
Thank you for coming, for walking straight over, not a long walk.
Sure.
First, I want to get your reaction to this confirmation. Not a surprise, but also just put in perspective for people. I mean, he is now is a lifetime appointment to the Third Circuit. You've been in the Senate for almost 20 years. You've a former U.S. attorney. You've been involved in judiciary issues. For context, how do the allegations against him compare to the nominees you've seen in the past?
Class by himself. This is a genuinely bad guy. He was in the Department of Justice for all of 6 months and managed to rack up 3 separate significant episodes of prosecutorial misconduct. I mean, most prosecutors go a lifetime without doing that. And these weren't little Brady violations. This was like big deal, first principles violated, real problems, a fake criminal investigation, dangling another investigation over the head of an elected official to try to get him to comply on policy stuff. And then the famous, you got to be ready to tell the courts F you if they disagree with Trump. So all of that. And then, aside from those 3 prosecutorial misconduct episodes, he wouldn't say a word about what he did with the Epstein files during all those months when he was their prime
You think he did something with them?
He wouldn't answer questions. The Republicans didn't make him answer questions. That's part of our problem. The Republicans are giving this guy a free pass.
No question about it. And we haven't talked about the Epstein files as it relates to Bovie, but that is an interesting point you just brought up. Let me ask you, you and Senator Durbin sent a letter to the current Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, asking him for more information. I mean, the fact that he went on this trip last week and spent 2 days we don't know anything about, meeting with a convicted sexual predator, is very bizarre and very weird, as you've called it. What are you asking for? I assume you haven't heard back, but what are you asking for? What do you want to know?
We're asking for whatever records were kept of that meeting. It would be extremely unusual for a senior Department of Justice official to go and meet with the subject of an investigation or inquiry and their lawyer and have no note taker present, no stenographer present, no recording made of the meeting. But that may have happened. If there were some record of the meeting, we want to know what was said. Here's a really obvious question that she should have been asked. You put the birthday book together for Jeffrey Epstein. The president just said that the page he put in it either didn't exist or was a fake. Well, tell us about that page, because you assembled the book. We have the letter you wrote to Jeffrey Epstein saying, here's the book I assembled. So, things like, did that question get asked? Because whether the question was asked or not asked, each is very telling.
It's challenging with not being in control of the Senate or the House to get things that you should get, right? I mean, in the House, there is some sort of strange bipartisanship in this, I guess, in trying to get more information and get access to information in the Epstein files. Is there any potential for that in the Senate? Do you see that potential?
I don't see it yet. But, this isn't going away.
Yeah.
And to the extent that the House decides to bring Ms. Maxwell to testify, if she gets immunity and all of that, then they can ask her these questions. But at some point, when the Deputy Attorney General of the United States goes down to meet with an individual, some record of that has to exist somewhere. And ultimately, we will find out. But in the meantime, they're doing their very best to cover all this up and make it all go away. What you can't make go away is that the Deputy Attorney General of the United States has no proper regular business going multiple states away to meet with a witness.
Which is so important to remind people, because it's not normal course of business. Normal. You, again, as I've just stated, have been around this for a long time. I mean, there's so many conspiracy theories out there. We don't know what they talked about. We don't know what's happening here. But she has asked for a pardon. Her lawyer asked today for a pardon. Trump has not rolled out a pardon. What do you think is going on here as you think about it?
If you remember The Godfather.
I do.
There was a moment when Tom Hogan goes to visit Frank Pentangelo in the prison to get him to not discuss the Godfather's dealings in front of the Senate Rackets Committee. And that's the image that keeps coming to mind when I see this guy with no legitimate or regular official business with this woman going down to do this long 2-day interview out of all regular, ordinary government Department of Justice procedure and violating a very basic principle. When I was the U.S. Attorney, I would not go to a witness interview because now I'm a witness to the witness interview. Prosecutors don't want to be witnesses in their cases. That's why agents do witness interviews, or maybe the line AUSA does one. But the idea that the Deputy Attorney General is doing one, it's there's going to be a lot more dug out before this is over.
What could it mean, a witness to a witness? What could that mean for Todd Blanche? He's putting himself, it sounds like you're saying, in a very awkward position here. What could it mean for him?
It could mean for him that Ms. Maxwell and her lawyer say, this is what was discussed in this meeting. This is what was promised to us in this meeting by the Deputy Attorney General. And if there isn't a transcript, and if there isn't an FBI 302, notes being taken, and if there isn't a tape, then it's really up to who's telling the truth. It's two stories. And the Blanche is now a witness in the question of what Blanche agreed to in that meeting. And he and the Office of Deputy Attorney General sidekick, who he brought down with him. So they put themselves in a very awkward situation if there's any question about what happened in that meeting, because now they're subject to deposition, to having to give testimony, to being put under oath, to being cross-examined, if something relevant was done in that meeting that then is contested later.
The House Oversight Committee has, I mean, they think they're going to get access, right, to some forms of the Epstein files. They think. Do you think they will? And if,
we'll see.
And if they do, I assume you want access to them.
I think the more of that comes out, the better. And I think that the House work is terrific, but I also think that the Senate Finance Committee work, looking at $1.5 billion in suspicious activity reports on wire transfers involving Jeffrey Epstein, none of which were investigated by the Bondi/MAGA Department of Justice. It's called the suspicious activity report for a reason. It's because it's supposed to be investigated.
Well, follow the money. We're going to have to come back and we'll talk about that one. Senator Whitehouse, thank you for being here.
You.
Covered a lot. Really appreciate it.